Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be in time and space. I am Janet Weissman, and I am here with
Carlos Felipe.
And we are here for episode 19 of I Am Practically Spiritual podcast. And again, we are very grateful that today's episode is again sponsored by the Love Ladders collection of jewelry and small sculptural works where every piece shines as a reminder of love's true presence. And we're also grateful for the support of the Forgiveness Piece, a sculpture project devoted to forgiveness. We invite you to visit theloveladders.com, theforgivenesspiece.com, to discover the many ways to express being practically spiritual. And we want to remind you that there is indeed a coupon code to receive a 25% discount, and it is the word spiritual. Now, just briefly, yes, Mother's Day has passed, but Father's Day is coming. And the beautiful pieces of the Forgiveness Piece and the Love Ladders, they're gender neutral. So anyone can wear them. So just saying. Okay. So let's get started with episode 19. We are in big lessons in this workbook. And as promised, last week we have another 7 thought-provoking and expanding lessons to review. We are very happy that you're here with us, but also want to suggest that you actually read the lessons. There's such a wealth of knowledge that we cannot cover in 20 minutes together each week, all of the depth in these lessons. And yes, you can watch or listen to my YouTube videos, shameless plug, of the lessons for more explanations, but remember, this is an experiential course. So the experience you will have by reading the lessons on your own, can read them out loud if you so choose. This is going to just enhance your experience of listening to this podcast.
I think that's very important to emphasize that there's no replacement for actually reading the lessons. And
right.
You'll see what you mentioned, all the material that is there.
Right. So the first lesson this week, the lesson 28, the world I see holds nothing that I want. But this is really just half of a lesson. Okay, the rest of it is tomorrow's lesson. 2 halves make a whole. We cannot stop with this message, because if we are to relinquish everything, we must understand why it's necessary. And everything in this world is of temporary nature. Nothing lasts. Our joy is not meant to be ephemeral. It's meant to last. But nothing lasts in ego land. To realize there is nothing here, I want to emphasize here, that leads to salvation for everyone, is to make progress towards freedom. That awareness comes first. Placing value on what we find in this world only keeps us from discovering the true gifts that await our return home. This idea of value will be visited again in just a few days. Now, realizing there's nothing of value to hold on to here because it will not last makes the release of this world much easier. We must remember the only value we find here is what we have placed on it. Lesson 2, I have given everything I see, all the meaning it has for me, all the value. So if I gave it, I can remove it. Removing my attachment to things allows me to remove the chains that hold me to this world. When I'm free, I will fly in sureness and joy to my Creator. Now, and finally, the lesson tells us this world is not where it belongs, and our release of it is for this whole world and the sonship. So the next lesson, beyond this world, there is a world I want, obviously. We need this lesson to keep us from being depressed or feeling hopeless. This is the other half. We want to exchange the world that offers nothing for one that offers everything. It's a good deal. Because the ego world is the ego world is one of time, not timeless. All things that we enjoy will disappear. Everything here has an expiration date. Check your refrigerator. There is no lasting love here or anything else. There is a world that is not confined by time. We are offered all things there to have for as long as we wish to stay in this new world, that new world. But when we're ready, we will even go past that and move into eternity, a space unbound, totally limitless, timeless. This will be our awareness of heaven. Loss is now impossible. Communication is fluid. We can choose which world we want, but we must really want that choice and not want to go back to the other world. Be willing to remember there is nothing in the ego world and everything in the world beyond. This lesson says, with the choice, the lights of heaven will bend towards you as you leave the world of darkness. We can easily say with confidence, the world I see holds nothing that I want. Beyond this world, there is a world I want. And now, next lesson, 130, very obviously, and a simple statement of truth and another giant stride. It's impossible to see two worlds. We cannot see two things at once, as we cannot hold two opposing thoughts in our mind at the same time. We can't have hate and love. Choice is always not only available, but necessary. We will see whichever world we value the most, and that will be our choice. In addition, if we are afraid of one of the worlds, we will not choose it. As strange as it may sound, we are often more afraid of the light than the dark.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very well.
Yeah. The world we believe we inhabit comes from the ego mind, and it's filled with fear and anxiety. Yet we call it home. All of this imagined world is false, unreal, and has nothing to truly give us. Today we will choose between what is real and what is not. So choose one, and the state of your mind will instantly be revealed in that choice. Is it love or fear? Remember, you do not want illusions. As you make your choice, be confident. God will be there. God will be very thankful for the choice we make today. We will see a new perception in the world, one that was unseen before. Perception will be consistent with the choice we make, and that choice must be complete. If we allow a little bit of darkness in, it will affect our vision, and then we will perceive hell. It's impossible to see two worlds. We want freedom, and darkness is not part of the world we want.
That practice of if you see and allow a little bit of darkness in, this is such a great thing in this, especially this lesson I found.
Mm-hmm. So our next 131, no one can fail who seeks to reach the truth. This is a real feel-good lesson, okay? It's a guarantee of success. The only thing we have to do to succeed completely is to listen to God's voice. We cannot accomplish what is not in our best interest. These are impossible goals. They are not meant to be reached. They lead nowhere and provide nothing. Remember, our goal is truth. We search here, and in fact, that's an activity we engaged in constantly, because the ego will never be satisfied, so the search will continue. Our real search is not for ego trinkets, but we really are searching to find our way home. This is the one search that will be fulfilled, and it is the only search we really want. The lesson says, we will find heaven. Everything you seek, but this will fall away. See, there's that guarantee. So now we have more good news. Heaven is already here because it's God's will. The realization of heaven comes without conflict of any kind. The idea of a split mind is reconciled because God did not create two minds. He created one. One whole and complete mind comes from God, and we are part of that mind. The practicing of this lesson is to seek and find truth today. We are asking to see the creation of God and not the world we made. We are seeking the truth, so we will succeed. We are willing to let our thoughts about this world that we made be let go now. Remember that door?
Yeah. Why wait?
Why wait? Right. Why wait for heaven? That's another lesson. We have the metaphor of the door that flows through the Course. we're seeking for that door again today. We want to go through the door, and it will open before us. The way is lit up, and there is no more darkness. We cannot fail. We have a mighty companion to be with us, and our search is over. So now, lesson 132. I loose the world from all I thought it was. To say I loose something, it's a very archaic sort of Shakespearean term. It's not one we generally use in this world. So we may not think of this world as a prison, but it really is. We have accepted the beliefs and constructs of this world, and we've not questioned them. So our minds have great power simply because we can change our thoughts, and the whole world will change as well. This means that the world as I believed it to be once upon a time, and how it is now and will forever be, I loose that. I loose that world from everything I once believed it was. I let it go. As many spiritual paths and now science tells us, there is only now. That now becomes our only belief in time. The wonderful thing about now is all past fears, worries, doubts are gone. The world is equally as free as we are. Our thoughts have changed everything. The world's a blank canvas again, and the world is the effect of thoughts that we think. And since ideas never leave their source, we will paint the world with thoughts of hope and truth and love, or with ego thoughts. We can have a healed world, and this lesson reminds us you are as God created you. And with this lesson, we free the entire world of all living things that we see upon it. The lines that we're given for practicing this lesson really bring the whole lesson together. They say, I who remain as God created me would loose the world from all I thought it was, for I am real because the world is not, and I would know my reality. Okay, we're at lesson 133. We might make this in 20 minutes. We'll see. Okay, I will not value what is valueless. Love this lesson. This lesson's become sort of one of my mantras lately. As I view this world and see so many temptations, I have to ask myself if there is any true value in what's being offered. And today's lesson is indeed very practical, okay, practically spiritual. In fact, it even states so in the first paragraph. We are given standards to use to figure out what actually has value. So as we consider all the options in this world, let's see if they meet the standards of value the Holy Spirit has given us. 1, always choose something that will last forever, nothing that's temporary. What is temporary is valueless. 2, choose something that's shared and given equally to everyone. No one loses. I have more, you have less. That's not valuable. Number 3, ask why the choice is valuable to you. Choose wisely and with consideration. The ego is ready to deceive us about the value of our choice. And number 4, do I feel any guilt in making this choice? Do I know this choice will be harmful to others? If so, I am valuing what truly has no value. Everything that has a value is something that will lead me, all of us, closer to the awareness of our true self. These are things that are shared with all the sonship. What is truly valuable is not in form. Love is valuable, as is happiness, joy, compassion, peace, freedom, forgiveness. Going into our practice, we say, I will not value what is valueless, and only what has value do I seek, for only that do I desire to find. And then our last lesson for today is let me perceive forgiveness as it is. So, where is forgiveness required? Do we need it to pardon the truth, or only the illusions? The problem we face is still having a belief in sin. On some level, we still believe sin is real. We cannot pardon the false, and in fact, we have no need to do that. We do, however, often believe the false and then feel guilty. And all of this insanity comes from not understanding forgiveness as it really is. As long as we maintain a trust in fear, sin, and guilt, we will see forgiveness as an undeserved nicety. Okay? It's undeserved. What real forgiveness does is gather up all the illusions and offers them to the truth, dark to the light, where illusions can now simply disappear. Forgiveness is the superpower of this world, and it pulls together our illusions and simply tells us, my brother, what you think is not the truth. Illusions are seen as what they are. Forgiveness restores the truth to every mind. That doorway to forgiveness and truth is open to everyone now. So there's a favorite line in this lesson that can be used every time we want to project blame and or guilt onto another. We simply say to ourselves, would I accuse myself of doing this? And of course, I play with words, so I have another word that I use in place of accuse. It's a little harsher, and it's condemn. Would I condemn myself for doing this? So remember, forgiveness is a practice because it's not natural in this world. So we must form new neural pathways for this way of thinking. Freedom and peace will be our rewards. Okay? So again, we're using the practice of selecting one brother, listing all of his or her faults, and then asking, would I condemn myself for this same shortcoming? Now, forgive him or her and realize that you're freeing yourself. You're freeing yourself of the prison you constructed, and try to practice this all day, and you will be happy that you did. We made it.
We made it. And I think just to recap, because I think it's wonderful, we have to choose whichever world we value the most.
Absolutely.
Okay, for that we have to question it. When we are not feeling, the opposite of peace, we have to question it, what we are choosing.
Right.
I think that's the second thing. But then to close it and to bring it all together is about forgiveness. I love how you said here that is a superpower, but it's something that is not natural to us. And us changing to a new thought system is so important also to bring this forgiveness to help us. Is kind of the bridge to bring this new thought system, because we have to forgive whatever we. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, well, forgiveness is described in the Course as it's the bridge. Okay, forgiveness is the bridge for
Perfect.
us.
So that you see, that's
Yeah.
the perfect thing. And then I love how even you mentioned here that even forgiveness changes your neural pathways, and that's part of it. So that's something that we have to practice. It doesn't come natural to us, right? So we
Right.
have to learn it, and we have to use it in our
And
practice.
we have to use it, right?
Right.
But it really is a superpower, because when we have learned to forgive completely, everything is going to change. We're not going to be getting upset all the time by little minuscule things that happen in our life. We may not like them, things, with the cable company perhaps, okay, or traffic. But we're not going to go to the extent of raising our blood pressure, let's say, as, may have happened at another time.
And as a student for practice, I think because forgiveness is not totally an acquired skill yet, we can practice with other people, with ourselves, so that we can begin gather some strengthen that muscle of forgiveness that sometimes is either non-existent or we have to work at it. And
Right.
sometimes it's helpful to begin practicing this week. I think that would be
Right.
a good something good that we can focus on, that forgiveness ability.
These lines in the lesson 134, would I accuse myself of doing this, or would I condemn myself of doing that? Really takes it, and, as they say, if you're pointing one finger out, three are pointing back towards you, and that's it.
That's a great way
So
to
if someone
put it.
cuts into traffic and I get all upset at them, would I think that I deserve to be, people to be upset at me if I cut into traffic. Maybe I was doing the best I could. Maybe I had someplace I needed to go right then and there. It was an emergency.
You cannot judge the
Right.
whole thing,
Right.
even though you think you can. So forgiveness is the key. I love these lessons, these child ones.
Yes.
It's great. So
Okay.
like always,
Like
work on
always.
that forgiveness, but don't forget
To
to
breathe and
That will
smile.
always help you. Thanks for being here, guys.